This is our BCM302 peer review, and this is filmed in week 8.
Alright, so my name's Claudia, and my digital artefact is a digital journal called Unscroll, a Mindful Reset Journal. Basically, it's moving away from the normal doom scrolling sort of habits, and it links to the mental health framework.
So my name's Ella, and my digital artefact is called Cool Drone Shop. I've continued it since my second year. So this is like, I've worked on it a few classes now. And it's about sharing my experience with hot rodding and vintage car culture in Australia. And I post on Instagram to do so, and it links with the framing of like platformization and how that impacts, how sharing something online impacts the way it's experienced in real life, how genuine it is, and the authenticity of it, and also the preservation of culture on online platforms and how something so historical is able to be shared digitally now.
Okay, so how do I follow that? So my DA is called Freelance Futures, and it's on TikTok, and it's sharing short form content to like build a community of like freelance marketers. So I have experience in that because I work in that, if that makes sense. So I'm doing that like overall like to build a community, but also the framing behind that is through like the creator economy and like platform dependency that us in the marketing world have, and like how we can share experiences and yeah.
And did you say your name was Lara?
Oh, and my name's Lara. Sorry.
So I'm Alex, and my project's actually a bit interesting because I've recently changed my complete idea, to be like complete 180, scrapped my projects that I was working on before, which was an AI-driven media platform, kind of analysing what people thought was real or true and like uncovering painful platforms. So I've changed that, and I've now combined my project with another subject, which is creating an online presence for my own brand called Park Goods, and that is a handmade tiling company. So I kind of want to use like the platforms to gain exposure to eventually sell the products and get some revenue from that. So I'm thinking, I haven't really started, which sounds really bad being week 8, but I'm going to use Instagram to drive engagement, and then have a hyperlink, I guess, in the bio to direct them to a website where you can use, what was the word? Like, you can use, it has like software that you can kind of play with the combinations of the tiles, so it's like interactive media.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Place it.
Yeah, so they can like, it's like a little switch that you can like change the colours of the tiles.
Oh yeah.
So you can see what it's
More
going to look like.
personalised.
Yeah. And then from there, it'll obviously have like the option to buy the table and like contact. So the Instagram's going to be what it looks like just to get
Awareness.
Yeah, and then the website's going to be like
To purchase?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes because like I haven't really started since changing my whole DA. Yeah, it would be great.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe I can work in the AI stuff somewhere
Yeah, true.
to combine the both.
Yeah, even if it's not, doesn't mean like ditching the old and like going into something new, but like actually moving, like evolving with it. Like a lot of it can change, but you'd still,
Yeah.
you can like
It's funny,
work
have
in
you
some
ever
of
made a
those-
whole framing for a project and realised that it just doesn't work for the project?
Yeah.
Like you start with your idea and then the framing just doesn't
work.
fit. That was
Yeah.
what happened with that old
So do you feel like your new project, you framed it first and then
Yes.
done it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The framing is more like engagement focused.
I think that's one of those things we sort of like have talked about obviously throughout like this semester already, and like going through our days. It's so hard to like, a lot of people find it hard to decide and like start like literally just get started on like a certain decision, like what I'm going to do for my DA or what the framing is going to be, or like do I continue on something I was already doing, or like do I start something new, or like do I do a bit of
I
both?
actually feel like it's really hard to come up with a concept. Like creating a DA by itself is so easy because it's just an Instagram account or a website or
It just
whatever.
has to be like available.
But then getting the framing to back it.
Yeah,
it's
like
like
a
a
few
few
sides.
I think-
side.
Yeah, like that was a bit challenging for me. Like I think I started my DA, making my digital journal, and then afterwards I thought about like the framework, and then it kind of didn't link initially, so I had to go like backtrack and reassess it. Yeah, and that was a bit of a challenge because if I thought of the framework first, then I could have linked it easier to my DA and then started off with that.
Yeah, I feel like we are encouraged to like continue a DA to like see its evolution and whatnot, but I feel like we needed, like I felt the framing had to come first.
Well,
so I feel
for
like
this subject
you had to
especially,
start.
the framing is so different to other subjects. It was hard to apply to an already pre-made digital artifact. Like I feel like without starting with your framing, trying to apply it to an established artifact is not.
That's why I was gonna say that's why I completely like I was gonna go on from other artifacts I've done, but this is a completely like new one, and that's why I linked it better this time because I had a new DA on digital artifacts.
So I think out of the four of us, we've got like 2 new and 2 like established. Whereas I would say like my experience was kind of different, like regarding framing especially. I already had my like DA established, and I hadn't really thought too much about like framing and that sort of side of it until this subject. And like when I solidified my framing, like realizing I wanted my DA to be about preserving hot rod culture for younger audiences, it actually sort of gave my content and my posting more of a purpose. And like I was like, I found clarity in what I wanted to post and like why I was posting and like what made sense. And like I started including a bit more historical things, a bit more like personal stories, and it tied my DA together, whereas previously it had been a bit broad and I felt like it had a purpose. I was sharing my experience, but the reason I was sharing my experience was a bit like vague. Like I didn't really
it's given the framing is definitely like given it more of a purpose of like why we're doing it and what we like trying to want to figure out like what's happening like behind the scenes kind of thing. Like because I feel like for like DAs, like it's just like the front, it's like cool, like you're posting videos on TikTok and whatnot, or like on any platform, but like what's like the deep meaning like behind it and what you're trying to find and stuff like that. So I feel like it's definitely
TikTok
provided.
is a platform that is really hard to find the meaning behind.
Yeah,
like framing, framing for TikTok. That's why I changed my DA. It was on TikTok. It's just like not there. Like you can kind of make up reasons why you're posting, but it's also like why, why.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like it's different for your idea though, because you like you want customers like awareness
now
to
it's
then
really
drive.
good, but with the other project, it was just like there's no point in creating this. Like I can analyze the analytics, like that's fine, but there's really no point in it. It's
you're
not
posting
providing
more for like engagement, like TikTok is sort of like you want views and like I can see how that links.
But it was just like it wasn't providing any sense of purpose or like importance to anybody's lives. Like creating an account surrounded by AI. Like this wasn't necessary.
But I don't think that's a TikTok thing necessarily. It's more like you were like what you were posting. Who was posting? Like for the sake of it.
It was posting for the sake of it.
Yeah, I feel like with my previous DAs, like I focused on food. Like food was like the main sort of one. Like I did like
Did you do something about cooking?
Yeah, I did like the barmaid reviews and things like that. And it was all on like Instagram and TikTok and stuff. So then I think for this, once I figured out my framework was going to link to like mental health, I was like finding it hard to like relate food. And, like, I mean, there could be something, but that's why I was like a new DA would suit that framework and make it a bit easier to like talk about and like for the contextual report instead of like bringing along the food part and then trying to link it to the framework.
So you really did think of your framing first, like the mental health bit?
Well, kind of like because I chose a new DA, I started doing like a digital journal, but I didn't know what it was going to be like about. And then once I picked my framework, I knew I could link it to mental health, but then I knew I couldn't do food because I wasn't really sure, because I knew the framework I was going to do something around mental
make
health.
it fit for the sake of it.
And like force it sort of thing. So I guess I kind of thought of my framework after I started, but then once I knew I couldn't link it to food or anything.
Around the idea of framing and creating the actual DA, like I also struggled with the time management of the project itself. I feel like especially changing my project now, I have like half the time that it's supposed to. But going back on previous, like if I was going to continue with my old DA, posting weekly and actually getting the content in your time framing, I feel like the framing, if I set a timeline, it's never going to work. Like I do it whenever I want to, if I feel like it's right. If I'm like, I'm going to post 3 times this week, it's just like, it's a high chance that I probably won't do that. But then the next week I can post like 6 times. So it's just kind of like setting realistic standards for yourself.
I think obviously any of us starting a DA, we're all uni students, like, and I think obviously with working outside of uni with assessments being due, whatever, every week looks different. So like even early on, not this semester, but previously when I started DAs, I was like, all right, I'm going to post this content, I'm going to do it once a week or whatever. I knew other people who were like, I'm going to do a podcast once a week, I'm going to put this out once a week. And like, that very quickly falls apart because like the time management side of it's like
it looks good on paper, but you just like never
it's like not necessary either. Like it's not necessary to have like a super consistent, like you're holding yourself to this tight schedule and stressing yourself out like for what? Like it's really not like important. It's better to like some weeks there'll be more and you can put a lot more time into it. Some weeks there'll be less, and like that's just how it works. And like even with obviously for this subject we've kept up with like the Discord posts and like developing our framework, and that's sort of been able to like keep me accountable to like keep paying attention to my DA, not letting it like
I feel like Discord posts would be really helpful because it's like you must post 3 times a week. Okay, bare minimum, I'll do the post. And that's even just like finding a source.
And you have to like think about it.
Like I think it's good to go into like the process of like a DA like ambitious, but you also don't want to be unrealistic. Like when it comes to it, because like I remember in first year, and like probably similar to you guys, like yes, I'm gonna post this many times, I'm gonna do this, but it doesn't happen, and then you feel like disappointed in yourself, and you're like, well, it's done. Like you feel bad and like you've let yourself down, kind of thing. So I feel like going in like motivated about your idea and whatnot, but like being like realistic with yourself and like your balance like between like your other subjects and stuff is really important. Like don't let, as bad as it sounds, like other subjects we have, the DAs do tend to kind of fall behind.
As bad as that sounds.
And like as you're saying, like with Discord and stuff, like it does help you keep accountable and keep like growing your project and evolving it. But you just gotta stay mindful of that.
And I think it's quite time consuming as well. Like this subject, because you have to be creative and you're thinking outside the box, so it does take a lot of time compared to when you're doing other subjects where it's kind of like writing. And I think I was just going to say, I think with mine, like I struggled a bit with the time management because in weeks like 1 and 2, I had like a whole list of all the content I wanted to include in my digital journal, like all these different little like components. But then when I got to like week 5, I realized like, or like 4 and 5, I realized like that would mean the journal would be like so many pages and like not realistic to like use for like customers or so then I thought I needed to like cut down and just keep like specific information, and so that's what I've been sort of working on now, is like making it more like concise and like realistic, because obviously no one's going to use a journal that's like 100 pages. I mean, they might, but like if it's like an interactive one, it's going to take you a long time to get through.
Like overwhelming for you, more work for you, but also overwhelming for like your target audience.
Yeah, exactly. So trying to like your ideas compared to like the first couple of weeks to now, it's like kind of refining like what exactly you need to include and things like that.
I think an important part of time management is also like reflection. Does that make sense? Like if we can reflect on how we manage our time in the first 1 to 9 weeks, it's a better example of how you can go forward and manage your time. Like if you want to work harder, the work you've done is fine. I think now is a good, like an important time to stop, obviously make our video and now contextual report. And
like
just see how we're going.
And we're all experiencing like the same things. Like it's not like we're like
we're doing very different projects, different platforms, different like what we're posting or what we're sharing.
We've all had the same issues.
The same challenges like have been like universal.
Do you think that's like a universal challenge for creating a DA with framing? Like do you think that's just going to happen when you're trying to create something new? Does that make sense?
No, it does. I feel like especially for
like if you're because creating a DA is really easy, but if you're applying framing in a time frame, like you have a specific time, it's like this stuff is going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a pretty universal thing, like especially connecting the framework, because I think that's what everyone sort of like struggled with at first, like really understanding the framework and then connecting it as well.
And also working a time frame, like you're just going to have to get stuff done.
Yeah.
No matter what, like even last minute even, you're going to have to do it.
Yeah. For sure.
I would say another challenge, like it's sort of involved in like the decision making of our initial DA and our framework, but it's a whole other thing I feel like is deciding what platform actually suits what you want to share and like who you're trying to share it with. Are you trying to build a community, like is like, or are you just trying to have something publicly for people to see, like what platform? Are you doing a website? Are you doing some kind of social media? Are you posting? I mean, we're talking about TikTok and like whether that's feels like you're just
if it's right
posting whatever and like are the right people seeing it, like are not a whole other thing is like choosing your platform, like whether you need to change your platform at any time to like suit.
I definitely agree, because I feel I was thinking for like my digital artifact of just like my digital journal, like just posting it on Instagram and like trying to promote it to sell like potentially on like Etsy or something, on like a e-commerce sort of site. But then when we were discussing like obviously like having it as a website would make more sense, because it is in the form of like you can like it's user friendly to use as like a website by the way I've designed it on Canva. So changing the platform to that obviously would make more sense for me now, and that only came from like discussions and things.
Was it just like you automatically thought like DA like what social media am I going to post on?
And what
I feel like that's such an automatic thing.
Yeah, it was like automatic, because I feel like for all my previous ones it's been through TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, like it's always been like that sort of platform. So I kind of forgot about like website and blogs and that sort of side of it. Like, and this would make more sense for my DA to do it through a website, I feel. But
I'm like sort of thinking similarly at this point, like literally, are we in week 9? Week 8 of the semester. I've been thinking that I've posted on Instagram and I've been doing like sort of short form videos and like just static image posts and like things like that, but I have been thinking more about my audience and like, which is actually a lot of like old men who are interested in vintage cars, and exploring more of like the YouTube and longer form content of that. And like I think that's something I'm going to get into, and like realizing like, oh wait, like maybe this would make more sense, and maybe they're not finding me on Instagram or like it's a different dynamic. I've got a lot of younger people on like my Instagram who are into the
and you have to think about that target market. Like if their sort of form of entertainment is through YouTube, then that's where you would find them more than through like TikTok or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like for my DA, like, because as I said, it's on TikTok, and like the main idea is like to build a community and like awareness. I found TikTok probably works the best in that sense, because like your content gets pushed out to so many people on TikTok through like the For You page and whatnot. Even if they're not following you, like you can appear if you have like common interests. So I feel like that works. And like if I was to post on say like Instagram or something, I feel like it's a bit harder to be like found unless you're like on the explore page and whatnot. So I feel like TikTok works in that sense for me, of pushing my content out to like a wider audience, and the content finding them instead of them finding me.
Like, so choosing what platform, I feel like it's good to like try and combine the two if your goal is to get an audience, or if your goal is just to like put it out there. Because obviously like, putting a link to a website in an Instagram bio is effective for like finding both.
Yeah, I guess like personal part of the journey.
Yeah, it is a journey for sure. I think I might just create the website, not the Instagram, because for me it's shoppable.
You can even add it in your website, like posts, like blog posts and awareness.
And like the story, the backstory.
So we're going to discuss like key takeaways from like this process from like weeks 1 to where we are now with like all of our projects. A key takeaway I think from all of us would be, as we discuss like around the framing and whatnot, I think really diving in and researching into the framework first before establishing a DA. It's kind of hard to go from the DA backwards, but the framework really pushes you in a direction of where you want your DA to go.
Expanding on that, my key takeaway would be to let your framework also evolve as you evolve your DA. Like what I started with was more about just platformization and what it meant to be posting on these, and then I evolved more into like preserving history and like authenticity and all those sort of things, and like it just evolved naturally, but like it made sense to like expand a little bit more.
It's like a combination too of both, like maybe doing a little bit before and also during, continue to like evolve that.
But don't like hold yourself to the first thing you came up with and be like, well, this is I need to force it to fit into this now.
Going on that, I feel like you don't have to hold on to something that's not working.
Like
just a part of developing an artifact is change and embracing change. If it's not working, don't try and force it to
good
fit.
Example.
Like don't try and make it work just because you have to get something done. Like you want to make something that's good.
And you'll enjoy the process more.
And that's the whole like part of the journey. Like you're meant to sort of evolve and change, and like that's like another like key thing that you can talk about as well.
Takeaway,
I would say as well, another key takeaway is like having the conversations and like sharing resources with your peers and like
Yeah.
for us like the Discord platform as well is just like discussions in
And you know what I
class.
find helpful in Discord is like if someone's project is similar to yours, clicking on their links. they
Yeah,
put
it's
in.
like there's a
Yeah.
reason we're sharing
Yeah.
these resources
Yeah.
with each other.
Yeah.
Someone like I think I watched one of your resources and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm putting that
And
immediately.
you're
in
like,
my
it's
project.
helpful.
Yeah.
Like that's like obviously
Yeah.
while we're doing very different things, we're all sharing online and like have that sort
Yeah, it's like a community.
of in
building.
common. So like so much of what we find and like in developing our own, like we can help each other. And,
Yeah.
like, talking with each other is very helpful.
Yeah, don't gatekeep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
I can find it online. It's all there.
Yeah.
It's just like a big collaboration, the whole
Yeah.
process, and we're all going through it, so
Yeah.
it's working
Yeah.
together.
Cool.
Teamwork.